Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be working on my Willow Leaf Ficus. Here is a look at my ficus. This tree was repotted and top pruned in June of this year, so it's grown really well over the summer. Today I'm going to be pruning it once again. Here is a look at the canopy of the tree, and you can see this is typical on these willows that you get all these multiple shoots coming out, sometimes from the same spot on the branch. So it needs thinning, it needs some branch selection to get the basic structure back on track. I'll show you a picture of what the tree looked like in June of this year after the repotting and top pruning. My Willow Leaf Ficus sure has changed from that June image where it was freshly repotted and quite sparse up top. So it's grown really well over the summer. I've got it in the plant room now where it's warm and humid, and I expect it to grow fairly well over the winter. My plan for this tree is to grow a giant umbrella canopy on the top of the tree. And it's easy to get that umbrella canopy just by profile pruning. However, I also want a beautiful flowing structure supporting that canopy. I don't want all these multiple branches coming out from one spot. So I'll have to do a lot of thinning today, picking out my best branches, following each trunk line up, each branch up, right to the tip, creating a beautiful flowing structure that I can build on in the future. I'm going to start today by profile pruning the tree with the blue scissors, reestablishing a nice umbrella shaped canopy, and then I'll go in and do my branch selection. Alright, here I go with the profile pruning. So I'm going to start at the top, and I want to bring it down a bit, having this shallow umbrella shape. I don't want it too rounded, I don't want it too flat, so I want it just kind of a umbrella shaped curvature. So here I go, starting in the middle. This part is sticking up at the front here higher than the back, so I want to even that out. So here I go, I'll come in. And you need to prune this umbrella shape from all angles. And I'm just pruning through leaves and everything. A basic profile prune. Checking all my views. Check this side view. Check the back view. Back to the front. I think I could reduce the top just a bit more. I think that's looking pretty good. I think it's a good umbrella shape. From above, you can see how dense the growth is. So that all needs to be sorted out. It's just thick. Now I'm going to come in with my detail pruners and prune up each branch. So I'm going to start with the branch out front here, this one, and prune it up. So I'm looking for flow lines. So here I have a vertical branch growing up that doesn't flow, so I'm going to prune that away. That's gone. I've got a couple of branches down low here. This one flows out nicely. This one kind of crosses a trunk line, so I'm going to take that one out. That one's gone. Here's another example of one crossing the trunk line, so I'll take that out. This branch comes out front, and it also kind of crosses a trunk line, and I have a better branch off to the right hand side here, so that one's going to come out like that. I have another vertical one. I've probably got two here that I'm going to prune out from the inside, and another one here. There's a little tiny shoot there. I'll get rid of that too. So now I'm looking at my branches. This one is good down here. This one is a bit, it's kind of coming out fairly straight, but not exactly straight. It's okay. I have another one crossing across the trunk line here, and I would rather this branch be a little lower and then branches from the apex come out in this area. So I'm going to remove this one like that. There's a leaf here I gotta get rid of there. So in this area, I have a lot of branches coming from one spot. You can see there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to simplify that a bit. So I'll get rid of the one that's coming straight out the front here, like that. I've got two that are angling up here. I've got a nice one here, so I don't need these other two. So I'm going to get rid of that one and the one behind here. Keeping this branch. This one, it kind of crosses the trunk line, but it's not too bad. You do need something out front. In the apex of this branch, I've got another branch here, which is a bar branch. So on the inside, I'll take that one out like that. I'll keep this one out front. I have a vertical one here, which I'm going to get rid of. That reduces it to 2 branches up in the apex of this branch. And then I've got a stub from where I pruned it last time that I will clean out. Prune it back like that. And then I have, this branch is good, but there's another one behind it that I need to prune away. 2 branches coming from one spot. So that's looking good. And I think everything else on that branch is good. It's simplified, everything's flowing. There's not multiple branches coming out from one spot. So that's the first branch pruned up. So I'll be doing the same operation on all the other branches, cleaning them up, picking my best branches, and making sure that there's not multiple branches coming from one spot. Like you can see on this branch here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 branches coming from one spot. If I leave it like that, this will thicken up. I'll get inverse taper, I'll get a big bulge or knuckle here, and it'll look not so nice. So I want to keep all the branches flowing and clean it out so it's a nice basic structure that I can build on. So on this branch, I've got a nice branch coming off here. This one is interfering, so I'm going to take this one off. This one is crossing on top of the other branches. I'll take that one off. I've got a few on the inside here, so I'll take those out. That one and this one. So that structure is sorted out quite nicely. I will just take the tip off here. And I think that is good, that branch. It's solved all the major problems with it. I could shorten this one so it changes direction and comes out the front more. So that's my second branch pruned up. So I'll continue on with the pruning of the tree, sorting out all that structure. It'll take a while. I'll have to examine each branch and prune it up. And when I'm done, the tree will look quite sparse. And then, over the winter, it'll fill in once again. I've got a few branches coming off of the trunk here, and it kind of blocks your view of the trunk line in the back. So I want to keep the lower structure clean, so I'll remove those. Another one here. And again, otherwise you would get a bulge here. And you can see there's already a bit of a bulge developing here in this area. Too many branches were coming out from one spot in the past. So I've cleaned that up. There's one coming out the back here, which is got to be removed. And I've got a lower one down low here. I think that one's got to be removed too. Okay, that's got the trunk line cleaned up. Here's a case here on this branch. You can see all these vertical shoots coming off the branch. So I'm going to prune those away. Anything going vertical. And then I have some branches here which are okay. They're horizontal. And I've noticed the odd little bit of scale on the tree, so I'm going to have to spray the tree with soap and water. So these other branches that are remaining, they're more horizontal. They're quite nice. I've just got to make sure they're staggered, that I don't have bar branches. And they seem to be quite nice. I could get rid of the one on the... I think these are okay, these three branches. Here's another vertical one here I'll take out. There's two branches growing from one spot here, and I don't want probably either of them. No. They're growing too close to this junction point. I'll clean up my past pruning mark here, my stub. I do have some bar branches here. I've got two branches coming from one spot in here. So again, I've got to pick my best branch. And this one's growing in front of this branch, so I'll take the front one off and keep the one out the back. Like that. This one needs to be shortened. Yeah, there's definitely some scale on this tree. Just little tiny blisters. So as I'm pruning all the branches, I'll be cleaning off my scale and then getting it ready for spraying once I've got the tree pruned up.
And I'm trying to make sure all the branches have light, that nothing's being shaded out. This branch out. There's too many at the tip here. So I want to just have that tip divide into two. So I'll take out the middle one there and take the tip off this one. So a little tip pruning to cause further subdividing. And I think that's got this part of this branch all cleaned up.
So it's just a matter of tracing each branch outwards, looking for a nice flowing structure. So at the tip of this branch I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 branches, all coming from one spot. So I need to thin that out. Always picking the branches with the nicest flowing movement to them. So I've got a bit of interference between this branch and the one above it. This one's shading out the one below. So I have an opportunity to shorten this upper branch, and I will. I've got 2 branches here, so I'll take it off to here. That gives light to this lower branch, and this one's shorter, so both are getting light. And you want to keep rotating the tree, always looking at it from all angles. You want it to look good from every angle if possible, but your best angle is always from the front of the tree. You want it to look the best from the front. So I've got that branch simplified down, a nice flowing movement to it. That one's looking good.
I'm working up here in the apex now, thinning it out. There's all these multiple branches, so it's just a matter of, looking at the tree, picking your flowing branches. So I think this one can come out. It's too cluttered. So I'm going to prune away all these branches that are growing back in towards the back of the tree, giving more light to this apex region. Keeping my branches flowing fairly outwards. And this is a vertical part of the tree, so you can have some branches growing backwards, but I've got other branches in this area, so I've got to make sure all the branches I do keep aren't shaded out. One going from the junction down here, I'll remove. So removing all your kind of obvious branches really helps the tree. And just like thuya trees, at first it's just a big tangled mess of branches, and as you prune away it exposes more and more of the branch structure, and you can start to see what's going on. So that apex is looking quite nice now. It's thinned out, it's flowing, it's got a good branch structure, except for here where I have too many branches. There. Actually, I'll leave that one. Yeah, that's looking really, really nice in there now. Good looking apex. So the other branches behind here are kind of back branches fanning out. So they'll need thinning just like the apex. Another thing you can watch for is your branch direction. You want your branches basically coming off radial from your trunk line, radiating like the spokes of a wheel. You don't want to start pruning branches that come out radial and then go off at a funny angle. So when you're looking at flow lines, kind of look at the base of the branch and follow it up and find ones that fan out nicely, not ones that are awkward looking or kinked. So this branch is getting a little long here. I have an opportunity to trim it back to some downward facing branches, so I will. So I'll take the tip off this branch, like that. Now I've got a real cluster here. I think that's my last major branch that needs sorting out. This one can go. I'm just, trying to keep the basic structure fairly clean so it's not all cluttered and jumbled. I think I could reduce the apex here on this one. Let's just have a look from the front. So I'm just doing my final checks. And the front could change slightly. I can see if this is the front. These two branches are a bit cluttered looking, but if I rotate it, they look better. So the front could change slightly in the future. This branch is kind of coming back on the tree. I'll get rid of that. This one's a little cluttered looking here. I'll get rid of this one. I'll get rid of this one. Just studying the branches from all angles. Like I said, if you can make your tree look good from every angle, that's just awesome. I could shorten this branch a bit. I'll take this one off. Okay, I think that's going to do it for the pruning. I think it's looking quite reasonable. It's nice and airy, branches will grow in and fill out once again. So my next step, I've got to spray the tree for scale insects. Some of these leaves are a bit sticky up top. So I think once I spray it all down, it'll sure help the tree grow, that's for sure. So here is what I took off the tree. A lot of branches, a lot of foliage. Here's what's left on the tree. So you can see it's, opened it up really, really nicely. A nice pleasing structure. Before I spray the tree with the soap and water, I'm going to weed it first in case there's insects on the weeds. So here I go. Getting them out by the roots if possible. I've got the tree weeded now, and last time I repotted it, I piled the soil up around the base of the tree, so I'm just going to rake that back a little bit, exposing my roots a bit more, getting rid of that moss growing up the trunk here or between the roots. I've got my soap and water, so I'll spray the tree down now. So here I go. Start from the top. Spray the surface of the soil, the pot, everything. I'll rotate it around. And then I'll come up underneath the tree and spray the bottom of the leaves. And I think that is good. So I'll let that soak for a few minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'll rinse it thoroughly. It is time for the rinse cycle now, so here I go. Rinsing it with rainwater. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all angles, so here I go. Coming towards the right-hand side. Coming around to the back. The left-hand side. And back to the front.
My Willow Leaf Ficus was purchased as a pre-bonsai from Chris Hendry, and I'll put a link to the playlist below so you can follow the tree through from when I first got it to what it looks like today. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.